From six-figure beginnings to jaw-dropping millions, Marvel stars have seen their paychecks explode alongside the MCU. But just how much did your favorite heroes really earn? And who took home the biggest payday of all? Let's break down the highest-paid Marvel actors and the massive deals behind their biggest roles. Brie Larson stepped into Marvel and instantly landed a payday most heroes didn't get at the start. When Larson made her debut as Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel, she reportedly earned $5 million upfront. That's striking because Marvel was known for giving new actors much smaller starting salaries, often just six figures for their first films. But by 2019, the studio had already delivered multiple billion-dollar hits, and the paychecks had grown. So even though it was her very first MCU appearance, Larson entered the franchise with a significantly higher starting salary than many before her. Chris Pratt didn't hit his Marvel payday right away, but when it came, it was massive. After playing Star-Lord multiple times across the MCU, Pratt reportedly earned $7 million upfront for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That film marked his seventh time stepping into the role, following appearances in earlier Guardians movies, Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers, Endgame, Thor, Love and Thunder, and the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special. While his earlier salaries may have been lower, this later installment delivered his biggest single upfront Marvel paycheck. Benedict Cumberbatch turned Doctor Strange into a major MCU force, and his paycheck leveled up with it. By the time he returned for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Cumberbatch reportedly earned $7.5 million upfront. This wasn't his first time in the role, it was actually his sixth film appearance as the character. Along the way, Strange became central to major MCU events, including mentoring Peter Parker and playing a key role in the multiverse storyline. That growing importance on screen came with a bigger payday, making this one of his highest Marvel earnings. Paul Rudd proved Ant-Man wasn't just comic relief, and Marvel paid him like a major player. For Avengers Endgame, Rudd reportedly earned a huge $8 million upfront. Interestingly, that didn't come from his solo films, but from this massive crossover event. By then, Rudd was already 2 movies deep into the Ant-Man series, and had even co-written both films. That combination, leading his own franchise and contributing behind the scenes, made him a valuable part of the MCU, and his Endgame paycheck reflects just how important his role had become. Tom Holland didn't just swing into the MCU, he cashed in big by his third solo film. After debuting in Captain America: Civil War and launching his own series with Spider-Man: Homecoming, Holland reportedly earned $10 million upfront for Spider-Man: No Way Home. That film went on to become one of the highest-grossing entries in the entire MCU, ranking just behind Avengers, Infinity War, and Avengers: Endgame. By the time of his third outing, his Spider-Man series had already become the most profitable non-Avengers MCU franchise, and his paycheck reflected that success. Jeremy Renner didn't always get the spotlight, but when he did, it came with a massive paycheck. For Avengers: Endgame, Renner reportedly earned $15 million to play Hawkeye. The film gave him a chance to take on some of its most powerful non-battlefield moments, showing a deeper side of the character. That payday placed him firmly in the 8-figure club within the MCU. And it's a huge leap from where he started. His first paid acting job was playing criminals in police training videos, making this Marvel paycheck an especially major milestone. Chris Evans knew becoming Captain America would cost him his privacy, but the payoff was massive. By the time he reached Avengers: Endgame, Evans reportedly earned between $15 and $20 million up front. He had played Steve Rogers from his very first solo film all the way to that final farewell, making him one of the most recognizable faces in the MCU. That huge paycheck came at the end of a long run as the character, helping balance the trade-off he once worried about when stepping into the role. Chris Hemsworth took a big risk playing a god, and it paid off in a huge way. When he returned for Thor, Love and Thunder, Hemsworth reportedly earned $20 million up front. That's especially notable considering how uncertain things were at the start. Thor was the least known Avenger to mainstream audiences and came with a highly fantastical story. Over time, Hemsworth helped turn the character into a major MCU staple, even leading 4 solo films. By the 4th installment, his journey from relatively unknown actor to top-tier Marvel star was matched by a massive paycheck. Scarlett Johansson waited over a decade for her solo Marvel moment, and it came with a massive payday. When she finally led Black Widow, Johansson reportedly earned $20 million upfront. It took 11 years after her debut in Iron Man 2 for that film to happen, making the payoff even more significant. But the story didn't end there. She later filed a lawsuit against Disney over the film's release strategy, with estimates suggesting the settlement may have ultimately doubled that initial amount. Combined with additional earnings tied to the movie's performance, it became one of her biggest Marvel paydays. Robert Downey Jr. didn't just lead the MCU, he cashed in before the box office even kicked in. For Avengers: Endgame, Downey reportedly earned $20 million upfront alone, and that was just the beginning. Thanks to back-end deals tied to the film's massive success, his total earnings from that single movie are said to have reached at least $75 million. Similar deals were reportedly in place across many of his MCU appearances, stacking up over time. By the end of his run, his total Marvel earnings were estimated to hit at least $500 million.